Hey, it's Sabrina with Healthily Harmony, and let's chat today about why we are adding a therapy dog to our practice, and let's talk about the differences between service animals, facility therapy dogs, and emotional support animals. I've had animals my entire life. We've always had dogs growing up. We've always had cats growing up. My parents even raised exotic parrots for a while. And as an adult, I've always had a cat. And then when we bought the house, our first house, we actually bought the house so that we could get a dog. And our 14-year-old Avienda, she's the one we bought the house for. She would have made an amazing therapy dog if I had been into that at that time, or, if she were younger now. So I've thought about how great it would be to add a therapy dog to my counseling practice for years. And for now, we're content to let Avienda live out her best old lady life as is. And we've decided to add a little Cavapoo to our family and to the counseling practice. So I'm going to talk today about the differences between service dogs, working dogs, therapy dogs, and emotional support animals first. Then I'll go into why Healthily Harmony is adding a therapy dog to the practice. Let's start with talking about service dogs. As defined by the Americans with Disabilities Act, service dogs are individually trained to perform service tasks and to work with people with disabilities. According to the ADA, disabilities can be physical, sensory, psychiatric, intellectual, or other mental disabilities. The work of the service dog must be directly related to the handler's disability. These are just some of the things that a service dog can do. They guide dogs to help blind people navigate in the world, hearing or signal dogs to alert deaf people to sounds such as a knock at the door or a person entering the room. Psychiatric dogs are trained to detect and lessen the effects of psychiatric episodes. Service dogs help those in wheelchairs or who are otherwise physically limited. They may open doors or cabinets, fetch things their handler can't reach, and carry items for their handler. Autism assistance dogs are trained to help those on the autism spectrum to distinguish important sensory signals, such as a smoke alarm, from other sensory input. They may also alert their handler to repetitive behaviors or overstimulation. Service dogs that are trained to recognize seizures will stand guard over their handler during a seizure or go get help. So what rights do service dogs have? The ADA mandates that service dogs have full public access rights, which means they are allowed to go places where animals are forbidden. They can be brought into restaurants, stores, libraries, other public places. They must be permitted in housing, even if other pets are not allowed. Service dogs are also allowed on airplanes and other public transport. One caveat, though. Each airline has its own rules regarding service dogs, so if you have a service dog and you plan on flying, make sure you check that. Most require that the dogs sit on the traveler's lap or at their feet. And dogs cannot block the aisle or sit in the emergency exit row, and service dogs are exempt from the pet fees that airlines charge. So what is a working dog? A working dog is a purpose-trained canine that learns and performs tasks to assist its human companions. Detection, herding, hunting, search and rescue, police, and military dogs are all examples of working dogs. Working dogs often rely on their excellent senses of smell to help out where humans fall short. Just a few of the jobs performed by working dogs include search and rescue. From missing persons cases to natural disasters, dogs have an integral part in finding people in dire situations. Search and rescue dogs can either use a scent in the air or the scent of a specific object to find who they're looking for. They can be used in many different situations, including disasters, cadaver searches, drowning situations, and avalanches. Explosives detection. These canine heroes work with the police, Transportation Security Administration, the TSA, and military to locate dangerous materials. The dogs go through an intense training course to learn how to locate and identify a wide variety of explosives and to alert their handlers of its presence. Breeds that excel in this kind of work include German Shepherds and the Belgian Malinois, which is very close to a Shepherd. Then there's cancer detection. Believe it or not, scientists were able to train Labrador retrievers to sniff out cancer in patients' breath by smelling samples and sitting down in front of the one that was cancerous. Cancer cells give off different odors that regular cells give off different odors than regular cells, and they change the way a person's breath smells. A dog's keen nose can tell the difference. In one particular case, the lab correctly diagnosed the disease 98% of the time, whereas a test that is commonly used found the cancer only 10% of the time. That's pretty amazing if you ask me. Then there's allergy alert dogs. These dogs were trained to detect the allergen and its residue at schools, social events, and everyday activities and alert the owner. Their training is similar to that of a police dog learning to track scents or drugs. Breeds commonly trained as an allergy alert dog are poodles and the Portuguese water dog. Now, what is a therapy dog? Therapy dogs play a different helping role than service dogs and emotional support animals. They aren't trained to live with a specific handler. Rather, these are dogs that are with their human teammate, often the dog's owner, volunteer in clinical settings such as hospitals, mental health institutions, hospices, schools, and nursing homes, where they provide comfort, affection, and even love in the course of their work. Therapy dogs are trained to be comfortable in new environments and to interact with different people. They should have a calm temperament, be unfazed by unfamiliar noises and movements, be comfortable being handled, and love people. So do therapy dogs have legal rights? Although they are defined as comfort dogs and often used in therapeutic settings, therapy dogs are not considered service dogs under the ADA and don't have the same legal right to access in public spaces. There is no uniform state or national rules that regulate and certify therapy dogs, and different organizations have different guidelines. As a general rule, therapy dogs should be trained, insured, and licensed by the nonprofit that's offering their service. Now let's talk about emotional support animals. Unlike service dogs, ESAs have only limited legal rights, and those typically require a letter of diagnosis from the owner's doctor or a psychiatrist. While they don't have unlimited access to public spaces, the Fair Housing Act mandates reasonable accommodations for emotional support animals, even in buildings that don't allow pets. The Air Carrier Access Act requires airlines to allow ESAs on flights, but travelers must have a letter from a doctor or licensed therapist. There may be additional requirements as well. Because so many people abuse the concept of an emotional support animal, including the traveler who tried to bring an emotional support peacock on board a United airline flight, airlines are tightening restrictions on emotional support animals. We can expect other commercial and public spaces to follow. So an emotional support animal does not have any formal training, as opposed to a therapy dog, a working dog, or a service dog. The emotional support animal's primary role is to provide emotional support to their person. So there's no training, there's no certification, which is why there's also not as many legal rights for them. So why is Health Hope Harmony adding a therapy dog? Well, counseling work can be more effective and more powerful with a therapy dog present. Dogs are known to improve the client-counselor relationship because they encourage stronger social and emotional connections, and they also give clients something to focus on, talk about, and bond with other than the counselor. As an added bonus, petting a dog for 15 minutes can lower blood pressure by 10%. It releases serotonin, oxytocin, prolactin, and even lowers cortisol, the stress hormone. That comes from a 2002 study. And simply put, dogs are amazing, plain and simple. My life is better with a dog and a cat, and I think this also applies to so many people. However, owning a dog, especially a well-trained dog, takes a lot of work, a lot of time, and a lot of responsibility. So this is my way of helping other people within my community to have the benefits of a sweet, well-tempered, well-trained dog without all of the risks and responsibilities.